Now put yourself in that situation. You're a young man and you believe in the Lord and you're so excited about justification. You've been declared righteous and you get saved and then some old Jewish guy comes in the meeting and says, it's not that simple, let me tell you. What you guys are talking about in this meeting is cheap grace, and it's not that simple. There's pain, misery. What made these, what Paul calls dogs, that's what he called them because they're sin sniffers. What made these guys, these men of the circumcision, the concision that Paul would say in Galatians, I would that they would cut themselves or literally castrate themselves. What made them go around from church group to church group saying, misery, man, pain. That's the key to spirituality. I'm convinced very simply because misery loves company. And they were sour, old Judaizers. You see, this is what happens in Christian experience, in ministry, or in parenting. You know, I may say I really want to watch the Super Bowl, but I got to be at church preaching. Well, if I can't watch it the Sunday before Super Bowl Sunday, I may say, next Sunday we're going to see which men are dedicated to the cross, have forsaken the world. Jesus Christ, who died for you and gave everything in place of you, are you going to stay home and watch TV, watch the 49ers, the Bears, whoever it might be? How dare you do that and call yourself a Christian? You are a shame. You are a cancer on the body of Christ. And see, I'll start ranting and raving and pounding the pulpit. Why? For one reason. Because I want to watch the Super Bowl. It's true. But you see, this is what happens. Preachers, parents, if we can't, misery loves company. And these guys were miserable, so they thought, these Christians are pretty excited and ecstatic. We're not. So we're going to go in and kind of make them miserable like us. That's always the legalistic, circumcising mentality. If you become a circumciser, where all you're concerned about is how much flesh have you cut off? You become one who says, all I care about is, are people miserable? And have they lived up to my standard of spirituality? You know what? There are churches and there are fellowships where the minute you walk in the door, you're being inspected. And that's all Judaizers care about. All they care about is, how come she's wearing that? Or, how come he's doing that? Or, why is that guitar tuned so loudly? Or, don't they know how revolting it is to see people in their clothes get wet and baptized? We have those kinds of critiques. People getting saved and others who are just miserably inspecting the flesh, wanting to propagate their miserable attitude upon a group of people that are excited about justification and coming into salvation. And I say this because I'm concerned about it. That Applegate Fellowship must continue on in the grace of God. And we will not by God's grace and with his help, become sin sniffers, legalists, analyzers, judging flesh by whatever miserable standards we place upon our own selves and don't keep. See, that's the problem. You set up standards of legalism, and you'll keep your little rules and regulations for a month or two or maybe 3. And you'll walk around as a circumciser. Your nose will be up in the air, and your heart will be bitter or hard. And you'll be a self-righteous prude and a sin sniffer. And everything is analyzed, not to rejoice in the Lord, but to judge and see how much flesh has been dealt with and who needs cutting on today. As you sharpen the sword, not to minister life, but to inflict pain. Who can I rebuke? Who can I exhort? Who can I correct? Not out of a heart of love, but to get them to see things my way in misery. So you walk around that way. I walk around that way until 2-3 months later, we don't keep our rules. We don't keep our regulations because you cannot keep the law. And consequently, what happens then is, oh, woe is me. I'm such a miserable failure, wretch. I'm such a loser. I'm not going to go to church anymore. I don't belong there. I don't belong anywhere. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I just go eat worms. And this is the thing. This is what the law does. This is what legalism does. This is